It's Leanne Phillipson, registered nutritionist, and today is day 19, according to how many videos we've done, although it's like day 23 of isolation for us, self-isolation for us. And welcome to Cook Together. Thank you so much for being along. Today is about snacks. I don't know about you, but snacks have become a really important part of so many people's day, where they're just kind of living on maybe too many snacks. But rather than doing a dinner, we'll get back to that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to do something super yummy. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But today we're going to make one of my most epic recipes, which for anybody that's followed Sprout Right for any period of time knows about, and these are called Go Faster Granola Bars. And I love this photo that we took. So this is my book, Sprout Right Family Food, and you can see there even in the little lunchbox on the front here. And this is the beautiful photo that we did when we were shooting for the book. So I just love this. Yours do not have to look this groovy. And even today, I'm going to make them not even in a rectangular pan. I'm going to make them in a round pan, just to show you that it really doesn't matter what you press these into. You can pretty much do anything with it that you want. So the point of the Go Faster Granola Bars, are really even kind of why bother making your own, is that you've got control over what's going into them. You know, the type of sugar or the type of sweetener that's going into it, because I'm actually not putting any sugar, but there is a sweetener in it. And if you've read the post before this, if you're on Facebook and you're reading this, just scroll down a little bit. We still haven't been able to figure out how I can schedule a video and then also go live on a phone. On my laptop it'll do it, but the camera on the phone and everything is better. So we're just sort of winging it as we're going along on that front, not winging the whole recipe and everything that we're doing. So I've got a lot of things around here, and the one thing that could be tricky for you to get your hands on, especially while you're not able to go shopping at all the places that you can just sort of nip into. There might be a time when you have to wait in line at a health food store, and maybe that's something that you don't really want to you don't really want to do just for one something. So I understand that. So this is the brown rice syrup. So this, as you can see, and you'll see when I start pouring it out, this is quite thick. So it has a texture of not so much of honey, and definitely not of maple syrup, not of agave syrup either, but it's much more corn syrup like. So I do suggest that you have to find something. Barley malt or barley syrup is another something, but it's actually really important that you make sure that you get something. They will fall apart otherwise. And I know lots of people that said, can I try with honey? And I say, sure, give it a go. And then I get a message back saying, yeah, they all fell apart. They still taste great, and everybody eats them all, but not so great on that front. So first things first with this, you do need some sort of flake cereal. So that I have my massive bag of Millet Rice Flakes. Put my teeth back in. This is Nature's Path. You can use Corn Flakes. You can use any kind of flake that you have hanging around, but that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna keep that in the bowl. Sorry. Logan's getting brain freeze from her blueberries behind the camera, which is, slightly distracting for me.
No, I said Frosted Flakes.
Oh, Frosted Flakes. Oh, Frosted Flakes, sorry. No, not Frosted Flakes. Okay, so I've got like 2 tablespoons-ish of, I'm not measuring it, but you certainly can, of coconut oil. You can also use butter if you want. Just kind of, you need a little bit of fat in there as well. We've got a lot more fat going on with this. Let me just double check, because I put all of my measuring cups in front of the right place. Okay, so now that I have a little bit of coconut oil on my finger, top trick is to, whatever your measuring cup is to just put a little bit of oil on the inside of it, because this, I'm gonna have to give this to Logan to run under hot water because it's all stuck. So while she does that, then I'm gonna take I'm going to use almond butter. You can use pretty much anything. If you've got a situation where you have maybe just go do it in the bathroom, sweetheart, please.
Mom, do you have a rubber band?
No.
Okay.
So you can use sunflower seed butter. You can use wow butter. You can use pumpkin seed. Did I say pumpkin seed or sunflower seed? Butter, wow butter. I believe it's soy. That's not one that I use too much, but I know that it's school safe. Not that we really have to worry too much about schools right now, but let's say you're watching this video after all the kids are back at school and you want to make this, then you can pretty much make it with any kind of nut or seed butter. So this is almond butter. This is my favorite. We have made it with peanut butter before. I kind of go in and out of really loving peanut butter. So if I'm not in a peanut butter phase, then I definitely prefer with the almond butter. But honestly, just use whatever it is that you've got hanging around. So that's that one. And while Logan's running that under hot water, because this syrup is so thick, then it definitely can happen. So that was my almond butter. What else was I going to, that was it. I wanted to share with you about brown rice syrup and why on earth am I using that? Because it has what's called a lower glycemic index. So what that means is that for a sweetener, then it has a much slower release into your body. So let's take white sugar, for instance. If you go and eat white sugar as opposed to molasses, then there's a really fast release into your bloodstream of that sugar. And then your pancreas has to react, insulin is released, and then takes all that sugar and shoves it into your cells to use for energy. So that's the the steps of what happens. When you eat watermelon, for instance, versus an apple, watermelon has a much higher glycemic index in it because there's really no fiber in there. Whereas, and all melons, actually grapes, they're higher glycemic index, as opposed to an apple where there's a lot more fiber in it. So it's a slower release. So that's one thing. As soon as you have, I'll call this a sweetener, the brown rice syrup. As soon as you have this sweetener surrounded by fat, which is what's in the almond butter, also the coconut oil as well, and then whole oats are the other thing. So why don't I do this while Logan's still doing that? I'm sure she's just trying to use her muscles that have been not really being used lately. She's 16 and she likes her bed a lot, and that's where she does most of her schoolwork right now. So a little bit of karate every now and then. Okay, so half a cup. No, actually, what I'm doing, it's supposed to be a whole cup, so let me measure that out twice. There we go. So 1 whole cup of oats, and already I had 1 whole cup of the cereal, of the Millet Rice Flakes going on in there, so that's that done. So this is like my dry, this is going to eventually get poured into here. But for now, this is all my dry stuff. So into this, I'm going to put a little bit of some pumpkin seeds. I'm going to add in, it's 3/4 of a cup, so I'm just going to eyeball it into here, of raisins. I don't actually have any other dried fruit. Maybe I have some dates, but they're super, super dry. And what did we make with those the other day? I can't remember. I had to rehydrate them because, the granola. So this is kind of similar in terms of adding all of the seeds and everything like that into them, just like the granola. Some chia seeds. These little guys are such powerhouses for us. So threw a few of those in there. Move all my jars off to the side. We've got some hemp seeds and some sunflower seeds. So that's all the dry stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much ready to go. Now I just need the brown rice syrup. How you doing, Logan? Okay, can you bring it in here, please? So in this case, there's another jar in the cupboard, if you can just grab that. In this case, what I've done before, when I can't really move it, it's just because it's just got stuck with that. So so you just run it under hot water, and then it just warms up, and then it starts to move a little bit. Have you got it moving?
No.
No? I did. Never mind. Got it. Okay. Those are those. What did my dad used to call my sister's muscles? What was it? Sparrows Sparrow's kneecaps.
No, I did all the hard work. You just twisted it the last bit,
and
so.
I just finished it off. Of course, that's how it goes. Okay, so you can see how thick this is. So I'm pouring that in, and remember I put a little bit of coconut oil in there. So it's going to slide out a little easier. But I'll use a spatula as well, just to get the full half a cup out. Still pretty messy stuff. There we go. Then this goes onto the stove, which I've already been heating up a little bit. And really, all I want to happen with this is that I want it to move really easily. So it doesn't take long while it's on here, but in order to mix all of our dry ingredients in, anything that you've put into here, then that's really important. So I'm not going to put this lid back on because this little drip here is what keeps it from undoing again. So I'm going to wipe that off before I put that on after we're done. So keep this on sort of high-ish, and immediately, let's see if I can show you, immediately it's starting to get much smoother and much easier to move around in the pan. I'll put it back on for another minute. So this is all really quite fast. It does not take long at all. You can definitely get your kids on the case with this. And like I said, I'm not even using a rectangular pan. Today I'm going to use this because it's just really easy to cut it out of a glass dish. And I just thought I'd show you because you can really use pretty much anything at all that you want to. So we've got a little bit of bubbling going on. Can you see that, how it's quite different? This is when just working with the live videos and not being able to completely show you, but the pans, I can feel it's really hot. So the almond butter is super smooth. The coconut oil has melted because that actually doesn't take much to melt at all. I'll just turn that off. The brown rice syrup is all nice and melted, and then in goes all of my dry ingredients. And then, let's see if I can show you still. You just stir and really just make sure that you can cover everything. Honestly, you think I'd find a larger spatula. These spatulas I think I bought for like a birthday party years ago or something like that when the kids were making something. What was it? Where they were making cakes or something like that?
Yeah, had 4 friends over.
Hadley's birthday.
Two teams
for Hadley's birthday. Oh my god, the icing that ended up on those was absolutely insane. There was definitely no sugar-free anything going on in our house that day. But
it's birthday. It's exempt.
It's the spatulas that we just seem to go to. We just keep on grabbing them because I do actually have a lot more that have a longer handle on them. Actually, what's really good for this, and I can't even see it, is a wooden spoon. Because what's actually kind of cool to do is to bash up the flakes a little bit. So I'll just show you. I kind of just go in and bash the flakes up because then everything is mixed up a little bit more. And if you look at the picture that I've posted of them, then they don't really look like they have flakes of cereal in there. So you can either bash it while it's in the saucepan, or when you're ready to put it into whatever it is that you're putting it into. This can go onto, I mean, a baking tray is okay, but it can be as thin or as thick. When I used to do my Mommy Chef cooking classes years ago, then I used to just have little foil rectangular, well, they were sort of off rectangular actually. No, they were rectangular. Get my shape straight. Then we used to use those, and they were perfect because at that stage, everybody was taking home what they were cooking. So we would do a lot of cooking. We would talk about supplements and babies and, what everybody's kids were eating or not eating or sleeping, and that's, just every aspect of health. So then you pretty much just push this around until it goes flat. So that's as much of the cooking as there is. I've got a big lump of raisins there. That won't be so tasty when there's all this other great stuff. So you pretty much just flatten it out. Keep on pushing down as much as possible. This is when you want to maybe change up your spatulas. I'm not sure what else we have. Everything else is in the dishwasher. And then you just need to let it cool. So sometimes if you want to eat it fairly quickly, shove it in the freezer for a little bit. If you have used honey because you thought, well, she said give it a go, so I'm going to give it a go, then definitely keep it in the freezer because it will likely keep them much more together. It'll be a bit chilly on your teeth. You might get a bit of brain freeze going on there. But basically, you can just make them kind of look a little bit prettier. I don't know do you know where the rest of the spatulas have gone, Logan?
Dishwasher?
Okay.
Do you need another one?
Don't worry, it's okay. Just about there. So it just takes a few minutes to try and get it all super flat. But that's it. These are ready to go, ready to eat. They do need a little bit of cooling down, otherwise they will kind of just, once you've cut them, and if you cut them out of this and then go and put them in on some sort of container, they kind of ooze back in together. So I really honestly often make a batch of these and I take them on a trip with me if I'm going to a conference or anything like that. And then this, along with, I can grab an apple or a banana or something like that, it's my breakfast, and it keeps me going for such a long time. So it's really great. But when I've taken them out and I've cut them and I stick them in a container or a Ziploc bag or something like that, then then I end up just pulling them apart because they've just sort of oozed back in together because they're not staying cold. They don't need to stay cold from a preservative, holding on to it. They don't actually last that long anyway, but they don't need to stay in the fridge because they need to stay cold. There's nothing in here that's going to go off if you leave them out on the counter. They're just going to get eaten the whole time. So that's it. Go Faster Granola Bars. So chop them up, serve them for your next snack, have them for breakfast, have them for an easy lunch. If you need a midnight snack, they can also work really well because oats are really, really good at keeping you going for a lot longer. And actually, one of the things that happens when we're not sleeping very well, then, you think, oh, maybe am I hungry in the middle of the night or whatever. Oats can actually help you to stay asleep longer because they have a very low glycemic index as well, just the same as the brown rice syrup. Yes, Logan.
Angus is here.
Oh, hey, Angus. How you doing? I think you're going to have a chat with Hadley today because, but she's out with Lexi right now. She's taking her for a walk.
He said, who's filming? It's Logan.
Yeah. Yes. Angus is a friend of the girls. I'm glad to see you here. And Angus is a budding chef. He made a really great dinner the other night that he was sharing a lovely story with me about. So I'm glad that you're here, Angus, and that I'm getting the chance to inspire younger eaters to be better at it. He was so proud of his dish that he made for a school project. So when we're out of all of this, then he's promised that we can come over and he'll cook it for us. And we'll cook something for you, like the Go Faster Granola Bars, because these are perfect for you, Angus, your buddies, your dad, your mom, everybody. So that's all I have for today. So tomorrow we're actually going to make, and tomorrow things are going to change a little bit. Tomorrow we're going to make the chicken. You can also do this with tofu. You can also do this with fish, poached in coconut curry sauce. If you saw my live yesterday and I said I think I'm hoarding coconut milk. Now you know why, because a lot of my recipes, even though I was using the coconut milk in the frittatas that I made because I didn't have any dairy milk, and it's a great way to just change up the milk that you're using. So this is what we're going to make tomorrow night. So if you want to continue and stay up to date with these every single day, I'm going to post the ingredients on Facebook and on Instagram, and then you need to go over to sproutright.com/cook together, add in your email address there, and then you will receive the email of the recipe, because then it's much easier just to print it off, and then you can also just put it in a stash. One of the jobs that I have for the girls to do is to take all my pieces of paper of all the recipes that I've printed and downloaded over the years and all that kind of stuff and put them in a binder for me. So that's the kind of thing that you can do once you've printed this off, is you can hang on to it. Of course, you can always order my book from sproutright.com. If you want to have all of them in one place with all the beautiful pictures and all the information that I have for you there. Logan's flailing her arms again and laughing, so I'm thinking that Angus is saying something super funny again.
He said coconut milk with 3 exclamation marks.
Yes.
And a thumbs up.
Yes. Yep, you can use coconut milk for pretty much anything that calls for milk or cream. Those are my two favorite things to change up. So I will see you tomorrow. Remember to go to sproutright.com/cook together. And there's also something that you can download on there with some amazing breakfast recipes if you're needing a little bit of inspiration there as well. And this is when you'll start to receive the recipes via email. Just so that it makes it easier for you, because a few people are like, I can't copy and paste it especially from Instagram. It's too tricky to get that recipe and sit there with your phone and try and make it with your phone going off. So we think that this is an easier way for you to have the recipe on hand, and then once you've made it, you can keep on making it again. This is definitely something that you can make as a double batch. A good friend of mine, Blake, she said that she's making this for her family, and thanks for the reminder. And she's making a double batch today, so you can totally leave this in the freezer if it's something that you want to do. You want to save for next week or something like that, but you want to just make a couple of batches. So again, I'm just smoothing it out, but it's probably just quite hard now. So enjoy your Go Faster Granola Bars. Thanks so much for being along with Cook Together. For any other information about my Take This line, my book, head over to sproutright.com, and of course always send me a message. If you've got any particular questions, I might use that for a topic for an upcoming Eat This with Leanne podcast too, or maybe a blog post. All right, thanks so much. Have a great evening, and I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.